sinister tale called the Trickster's Encounter comes from the Low tribe, people that span across Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, the Sudan, the Congo, and Ethiopia. Centuries ago, the Lu traveled across the Nile from the Sudan, and well around circa 500 years ago, established settlements in and around the Lake Victoria region. Now, for those of you who don't know, the Lake Victoria is the biggest freshwater lake in Africa. Now, these lake and fishing peoples are today mostly Christians, but have managed to uphold and maintain their traditional customs and values. All right, so let's get into the story itself, the Trickster's Encounter. Well, Hare and Spider were once good pals and used to pay alternative visits to each other. Now, one day, Spider decided that it was time to take a wife. His fiancée lived in one of the heavenly bodies that dwelt among the stars. Well, he asked his friend Hare to accompany him on a trip to see his future parents-in-law. Hare gladly accepted. He accepted without actually knowing that the journey was up into the heavens. Now, at the appointed hour, Hare dressed up and went to Spider's home, who then revealed their destination. Hare told Spider that he could not go since he was unable to fly. It had always been Hare's habit to say that he could do whatever Spider did. And in fact, in most cases, he succeeded via his cunning. This time, however, he had to admit defeat. Spider was very pleased to learn that at last his clever friend had to recognize his own great intelligence. He told Hare that he would devise a way for him to go, knowing that Hare would never rest until he found out how it was to be done. Spider therefore prepared food for Hare, and while his friend was eating, Spider said that he was going to take a bath. Spider then spun a web, reaching to the heavenly body, and as soon as he had completed this task, he went into the bath so that Hare might not suspect him. When Spider had bathed and Hare had eaten, they set off on their journey. Spider tied Hare on his back and started climbing the narrow cobweb that he had made. Hare was amazed and, praised the cleverness of Spider, trying all the time to induce him to reveal his secret. But Spider refused to do so. Hare then began to play his usual tricks and told Spider that since they were visitors, they ought to make a vow not to interfere with each other. When Spider asked Hare what he meant by this, Hare said that they should agree that whatever was given them in the name of the son-in-law should automatically belong to Spider, and Hare must not touch it. And whatever was given them in the name of the visitor should belong to Hare, and Spider must not touch it. Spider, not knowing that it was contrary to tradition on the heavenly body to use the term son-in-law, accepted this happily. Spider was certain that Hare was on the losing side of this bargain or proposition. When they finally arrived, they were warmly welcomed, and the future mother-in-law of Spider called on her daughter to bring chairs for the visitors. Hare then said to Spider, "Have you not heard that the chairs are for the visitors? They must now belong to me." Spider conceded. This went on and on for most of their stay on the heavenly body. Spider didn't even get a bite to eat. And finally, he got so pissed off at his friend Hare that Spider told Hare that he wanted to go outside and have a private talk with his girlfriend. Hare said no problem and remained inside the house. Now, outside, Spider told his girlfriend that Hare was not a good soul, and he told her also how he had been starving having had nothing to eat since his arrival. She explained this to her parents, and from that moment on, they only used the term son-in-law, and so it went on and on for a considerable length of time. But Hare couldn't keep up his end of the bargain, and soon broke his promise not to interfere. Hare made many unpleasant comments about Spider. He remarked on his table manners, that it was the first time he had ever seen such a greedy soul. So greedy, in fact, that he used his feet as well as his hands when eating. Hare said this in the presence of his fiancée in order to embarrass Spider. So Spider decided to punish his friend by leaving him behind. When his girlfriend had become his wife, and she was free to go away with him, the three of them set off to the place where he and Hare had originally landed. But only Spider knew exactly where it was. On the way, Spider asked Hare to go on ahead, since he and his new wife had some family matters to discuss. And when, Spider was out of sight, they went in the opposite direction, for that was where the web between the earth and the heavens really was. Hare was now in a bit of a pickle. He could neither live in that world nor leave it. Hare tried everything he could think of, but it was all in vain. Then he decided to jump down and leaped into space. When he landed, Hare was, unconscious. After all, it was something of a great fall. A woman and her son soon came by, thinking that Hare was dead. She picked him up and put him in her basket. Inside the basket, she had some food for her son, as well as the boy's shoes. Now, as they walked, the boy was lagging behind his mother, and the boy began to notice that Hare was munching on the food. But when he told his mother about this, she did not believe him. "Don't be silly," said the woman to her son. "How can a dead thing eat?" So the boy kept silent. And so did Hare, who was pretending to be dead. Soon, the boy saw that Hare was wearing his shoes, and again told his mother. The woman now grew suspicious and put the basket down. She put it down in order to check. Hare immediately jumped out of the basket and ran away as fast as he could, wearing the boy's shoes. Still running, Hare met Elephant, who asked him where he had bought the shoes. Hare then told Elephant that he had actually made the shoes. Elephant then asked Hare to make some for him, but Hare refused to do so, saying that Elephant's feet were so large that the shoes would be difficult to make, and it would take a very, very long time. Elephant, however, was persistent, so Hare finally agreed and asked him to go and dig 4 holes that were deep enough for Elephant to stand in. And he also told the elephant to gather up 4 piles of firewood. Elephant did this at once, and then called Hare to start making the shoes. Hare came and told Elephant to stand in the holes. He then arranged the firewood around Elephant's feet, and then set it ablaze. Elephant endured the heat for a while, and then started to complain that he this is getting awful hot. I'm starting to burn. Hare told him to be brave and have courage. "You are bigger and stronger than I," said Hare, "and yet you complain before even 1 shoe is made." "Your great size is useless," continued Hare. "It is mere flesh without energy or determination." Elephant persevered a little, but it was too late. His feet had burnt to a crisp, and when Hare told him to come out, Elephant simply moaned, fell down, and died. Hare then rejoiced and said to Elephant's roasted carcass, "You pretended to be big and clever, but now I will be able to enjoy your meat. Put on your shoes." Hare then burrowed into the dead, cooked animal and took out the fattest part, which he took to his sister for making a fine and tasty dish. The end. All right, with that thought, I'm going to take another musical break. When we return, we will continue with our African trickster's tales. The next story, which is called One Trick Deserves Another, comes from the Kikuyu tribe. The Kikuyu are Kenya's largest ethnic group and, biggest political and economic power. But first, some more music. This is Angelique Kidjo from Benin with a song called Batanga. Stay with us. This is God Rock Radio.